Chase Young.
Down he goes. Chase Young got there.
He's mobile, has a strong arm, and he's a winner.
Goes down the middle for the home run. Holy smokes.
Great job by Jeffrey Okuda.
Okuda's having a monster game.
Here goes Lamb across midfield.
One of the best receivers in all of America.
I don't care who has next, because they have now. The future of the NFL shines bright under the city lights of Sin City. The 2020 NFL Draft is coming to one of NFL's newest homes, Las Vegas. From the red carpet to the draft stage, college football's best set their sights on a lifelong dream, and nobody has it covered like NFL Network. Find out where the next wave of stars will land April 23rd through the 25th, live from Las Vegas. The future is here.
Future's where?
It is here.
Right here at this table, Kyle.
Let's do some journalism. Kim, I know you were an exercise and sports science major in Penn State, not a journalism major, nor was I, but I know you're an expert in it. Let's get into it right now. You want to do it? I can't even begin to tell you how much background info I have on you. I spent all night researching you. We were about a month.
I'd like to show you.
It's something like that. Nate, not a lot of people have seen that show.
Well, it's about a stalker.
Not a flattering.
I was just
That's
gonna
what you
say,
sound like right now.
Starting to because
Single white male over here. We are a month and a half from the 2020 NFL Draft. In fact, I think it's 49 days, like Tom Brady's future team. What is the biggest mystery heading into the draft, guys? Let's think about mysteries, unsolved or otherwise. What's the biggest mystery about the draft, Nate?
I'll go with Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay.
I feel like, one, what is he really going to look like? I've been hearing these great reports about his hip and that the blood flow is great and he's going to be ready for his pro day. That's fine. That might be a mystery, but the question mark isn't a capital question mark. We're talking about the largest question mark surrounding is where is he going to go? What team is going to make that leap? We just talked about the Lions, and Kyle, you brought it up. I mean, what if the Lions are looking at Matt Stafford and saying, we're paying you so much money, we haven't necessarily had the Super Bowl results that we wanted. Do we get rid of you so we get rid of the money, bring in a young guy and build around him, similar to what Russell Wilson did early in his career, Carson Wentz, when Nick Foles won a Super Bowl for them, what Pat Mahomes did this past year, all of those guys working on a rookie deal and being able to build around the rookie. What about the Washington Redskins? Are they going to sit there and say, all right, well, we love Dwayne Haskins, we love what he's doing, we love the workout videos, but we like Tua. I like Tua. Are they going to pull what the Cardinals did a couple of seasons ago? So for me, the biggest question mark is Tua. Where is he going to land? And I feel like because I met the guy, I know what I saw on film, wherever he lands, he's going to change that team for the next 15 years.
terrific point. He makes a terrific first impression.
No doubt about
He is
it.
unbelievable when you
Amazing.
meet him. And our colleague Steve Weich, I believe, is going to follow him the steps of this way. So
that's
Steve
great.
will do a great
Steve
job
will
with
kill
that.
it, yes.
He's in good hands with Steve there.
No doubt.
That'll be
That's
fun to watch.
Yeah.
What's your biggest mystery?
You know, I feel almost guilty because it's March 5th and I'm already a broken record on this.
Are you?
I think, though, when you look at the Jets and their need with the offensive line, which is pretty much throughout the offensive line, is one of the big tackles going to be there at 11? And obviously we can't know that now. So Joe Douglas is going to have to, like all GMs, go into free agency, prioritize where he can, get what he can in terms of O-linemen, you know, not knowing if at 11 they can get their man. They're going to be fortunate if they can, I think, with any of the four guys, because all of them would make the New York Jets offensive line better. It was that bad, and I think these four tackles are that good.
And it's a 2-for-1 necessity, right? You protect
100%.
Daniel Jones, and then you give another guy that Saquon can run behind. 'Cause we love Saquon.
And I think the Jets, though, they're at 11.
Yeah,
so they're the ones,
Gettleman's open for business with the Giants as well.
Right, he is.
Listen, my biggest mystery is just kind of off the board. It's what the hell is this thing going to look like in Vegas? What is this draft going to look like? Because, you know, there's renderings, and they are awesome. I don't know if you've seen the people who get together. This is supposed to be the 2020 NFL Draft. That is not something from Avatar or that is the boat on the far left is apparently how the prospects are going to get to the stage to meet Commissioner Goodell, to hold up the jersey. I'm thinking about these retro pictures of, you know, Pete Rozelle in a conference room with a hardline phone taking in the calls. This is where we're at. Find yourself in that picture. There's kind of a Where's Waldo factor to it. Nate, I'm sure you'll be front and center as you always are, but that is my biggest mystery. How are we going to pull that thing off at the Bellagio fountains? You guys fired up or what?
That's awesome. Getting off the boat, that's going to be
I think Mike Mack had the best thing is this guy, Mekhi Becton, is going to bottom out the boat. He's 346 pounds. I think
But you know what? He runs a 5.10. He can run off the boat.
That's right.
Walk on water.
That's right. I heard Joe Burrow's just going to walk. We've spent a lot of time on the big name free agents this offseason. We've talked about Tom Brady ad nauseum. We've talked about all the quarterbacks. But there's always those names that don't get mentioned, that slip through the cracks. So the Journalism 101 question is, who is the most intriguing free agent that nobody is talking about? And Kim, I want to start with you. Who you got? Who's the name that never comes up?
Jordan Phillips.
Fascinating, really.
At 340 pounds last year, and probably for a long time 340 pounds, he had 9.5 sacks for the Buffalo Bills from the interior. That's rare at that size. You want to talk Akeem Nicks, Dontari Poe, Marcel Darius?
Sure.
Generally speaking, that doesn't happen. Best part for Buffalo, Brandon Beane signed him, I think, late in free agency for $4.5 million. He was an incredible bargain. I talked to him the day the Bills season ended with that awful come from ahead loss to the Texans. And we talked a little bit about his future, and he was gracious to do so in that setting, but he was terrific. But he'd like to be back with the Bills. They're not going to go crazy spending, even though they could. They have a ton of money.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he still fits. They'd like him back, and who wouldn't?
Right.
A big man in the middle like that. You talk about pass rushers and the dearth of them, and there aren't many in this draft either, by the way. You're getting pass rush from up the middle. You know how valuable that is.
No doubt about it. You just see the highlights. He's collapsing pockets, making quarterbacks so uncomfortable. For me, I'm going with a guy that makes quarterbacks really comfortable, and that's a running back. Melvin Gordon. Listen, 4 years ago, he was the best running back behind it, Zeke and Todd Gurley. He had the third most total TDs. I mean, he can do it out of the backfield, catching the ball, and, of course, you can hand it off to him like we're seeing right here. A couple of years ago, he had 14 TDs, and it seems like the wheels started to fall off. I don't want to say the tread is off the wheels, but the relationship between him and the Chargers, it just started to disconnect. And right now, he's sitting there, and he's young. He's athletic, he's big, he's strong. You look at the two running backs that are going to be impactful next season that are free agents. It's Derrick Henry, who is the best running back in football. The stats say that. And then Melvin Gordon. And with him sitting out the beginning of the season, I feel like he didn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body this year. So there's going to be a team that picks him up. I feel like at a value bargain price. And because he's going to want to prove himself, Melvin Gordon is going to have one hell of a year. The question is, where will he land? He is a big, strong. We forget how good this dude was hurling over people, running over people, stiff-arming people. Let's just see where he lands.
And don't sleep on Kenyon Drake either. He's fantastic. I know there's some takes out there that he might be more coveted than Melvin, actually. Quickly, my guy is Eric Ebron, the tight end. We joke about this all the time. Nate, 2 years ago playing for the Colts, how many touchdowns did Eric Ebron have?
I think he had 77 touchdowns.
70, and that was in the red zone alone. That season, every time you turned on red zone or whatever, it was always an Eric Ebron touchdown. He was fantastic. I just look at him as an accessory to a quarterback. If you're going to try to lure in Tom Brady, you give him Eric Ebron. All of these quarterbacks' best friend is a big, big touchdown scoring tight end. I love Ebron's game. It's a little up and down, but I think he's due. Guys, let's get to one more question first in Journalism 101. Biggest name in free agency is Tom Brady himself, Thomas Edward Brady, who will be hitting the market for the first time in his career. So here's the why. Why should Tom Brady just stay right there in New England? Take it any way you want. Football, otherwise, why should Brady stay a Patriot?
I'd say stay where your legacy is. Stay where you are most loved and appreciated. I feel like what we want as ball players is for somebody to look at us and validate us. And I'm not saying another team would, but if Tom Brady signs with another squad, they'll be excited initially, but then they'll be waiting. They'll be waiting for him to look old. The Patriots, he is so loved that they're not going to wait for Tom Brady to look old. Even when he's old, they're still going to pat him on the back and say, you're looking great. Last year, fans were a little uneasy. You might even heard some boos coming out of Foxborough. Sure. But they were booing the offense, the system, the lack of productivity. They weren't booing Tom Brady. I feel like if Tom Brady goes elsewhere, there will be some boos if he doesn't look good. And I don't want to see that. I think because he's been such an ambassador for the league and he's going to go down as the best quarterback ever, I don't want to see him get booed.
I don't know either. Kim?
For me, there's a little bit of like old dogs, new tricks. I understand that. But, having had an up close look at Michael Strahan's last years of his career, I covered him as a beat writer and then as a columnist. He went out on top, one team his whole career. Brady has an opportunity to go out on top in New England, and it's already been a storybook. The ending, though, has to be written. I think a lot of us would like to see that ending in a Patriots uniform.
Yeah. I would too. And Peyton Manning's name comes up all the time. Peyton Manning, a completely different situation with Andrew Luck coming in, and he had to leave.
And the injury, the neck.
The neck.
He went to one of the best defenses ever. The
totally different situation. Yes. I'll just end with a quick football note on this. The reason that Tom Brady should stay, let's go back to last year's draft. I think we've forgotten that the New England Patriots went completely broke character and spent a first-round pick on a wide receiver. Let's remind the people what N'Keal Harry can do. Watch this catch in 3, 2, 1. Look out! That's my man back at the college level. He shows up at the pros, hurt, misses so much of the time getting on the same page with Brady, comes back mid-season, makes a little impact, but just that whole chemistry you hear about with Brady, that renowned on the same pagedness that he has with all those guys, he missed this. Don't ever forget that Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels saw this and said, we're going to spend our first-round pick on N'Keal Harry. So maybe they do bring in new guys. They still have him, and we still want him to stay. And please, let's not boo this man, right?
You're right.
And he'll be better year 2.
I think he
no
will.
Doubt. So many
N'Keal.
are, but he will be better year 2.
Right
No
about
doubt.
that.
Let's turn our Tennessee rules.
Oh, my God, here we go. It's all coming up,
The Titans
Tennessee.
have the toughest decision of any team.